She recently did a TED Talk, which she talked about the last time she was here. But now it's on video so that everybody can see it. It's 14 minutes. And you just go to theresarose.com. So she saw, in 2 weeks, had 3,400 people look at it so far. So you can be 3,401. So anyway, here she is, Theresa Rose, our spiritual director.
Morning. I have so much to tell you. I have 1,000 things to tell you. So, a week ago Friday, I drove down to West Branch, Iowa, to see my best friend in the whole wide world, and to stay at what we call the West Branch Artists Hermitage, which is that she puts me up for a week. I go away and I create. I created the TED Talk that I did at the Artist Hermitage. I created a previous keynote that I'd done at the Artist Hermitage. And I knew after, in my career as a speaker, that I was ready to create a new keynote on the heels of what's happening with this TED Talk. So I go, my car's packed to the brim on Friday, and I've got easel pads and markers, Post-it notes, you know, all accoutrements you can imagine to create and to write. And, you know, my yoga mat, and I got my drum, and I got a medicine bag, and, you know, I mean, all the necessaries, right? When you travel, you gotta have your necessaries. So I get there, and I'm panicked because I only have a week to create. A 45-minute keynote that it took me 9 days to create a 12-minute. So I was like doing the math going, this is never gonna work, but I'll steam ahead, full steam ahead, it'll work somehow, right? So I get there, and I'm panicked the first day. I get there, and I talk to my friend, and I say, I don't even know what it's gonna be, I don't even know what it's called, I don't know anything about anything, it's a blank slate, I hate this, I don't know what to do, I can't do it. And then you dive into the fear where you're like, I'm never gonna think of anything ever again. Like, my creative juice is just, boop, done. I spent it on 12, I'm done. That's what I started to process that night. And Jean, who is my muse, she's amazing, she, you know, snaps me out of it, and she says, okay, here's what you need to focus on. You need to focus on the fact that you want to create something new, that when you're in front of these people, whoever they are, they could be the International Association of Administrative Professionals, they could be any organization, any group at all, but I'm going to be in front of people. I haven't yet started to do keynote speaking for canines or anything, so I'm working with people. And my best friend says, you have 45 minutes with them. There will be women and men that walk into your world that you will see for only 45 minutes. Don't waste it. What would you do? What would you want to say to them? If you had, because for those of you that know me on a personal level, I really do believe this stuff. Now, do I act on it all the time? No. The story will come. But I believe in it. And so when I'm with somebody that I know, that I care about, and we're having conversations about something, I'll just go, don't you know, Linda, don't you know that if you just feel it, if you just feel that joy inside of you, you let that bubble up out of you, and you let that spray all over the world, that's going to be the thing that drives you forward. And don't you know, Linda, that every single moment of every single day, you have a choice. You have a choice to make a decision. Are you going to be a victim, or are you going to move into power? You have a choice to decide, is this going to suck, or is it going to be the most amazing time in my life? You have a choice to decide, is this going to be a dress rehearsal, or is it going to be real? And Linda, whatever you do, be good to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, love yourself, recognize that you're perfect exactly as you are. God made you so, this is usually where the swear word comes in, awesome, that you just can't even help but love yourself. And that's the first start of when you start moving outward and you start moving and really walking in this world with power. And the fourth and final thing, Linda, that you cannot forget is spirit is your greatest ally. You are not alone. You are never alone. There is always this infinite love, this infinite presence that's with you, surrounding you, loving you, holding you, guiding you, healing you, helping you at every single moment of every single day. That's what I like to do. And some of you that have gone out with cocktails with me know that it's basically a variation of that. With a little more, you know, salt around the rim. So that first night, what Jean said to me really stuck with me. She said, say what you want to say to these people who you may never see again. So, okay, I start. And now some of this is Ted. The bit wall, okay? So this is the bit wall. We're gonna just move it over to here. The bit wall. So I start, and I had an empty spot, and what I do is I ask Spirit for help. I start at the very beginning with a blank slate, which is horrible. The blank slate is the world's worst thing on the planet. Nope. I don't even know what it is yet. So Theresa Rose. Okay, there we go. That's a good start. So I have this blank slate, and she pops into me, and she says, what is that you want to tell them about? And I get power, presence, and play. When you're in your power, you're connected to Spirit, and you're emanating joy, everything works out. It all works. It's the recipe in this from me. And I'm doing this I'm walking around her living room. I swear I must have created a half-inch divot around her island, her kitchen island. I'm looking, going, okay, what is it that I want to talk to people about? What's the thing that really, really, really is important? Well, joy, obviously, joy is important, so you can write that down, But then you create. And it looks like a freaking mess, right? It's horrible, and I'm scratching stuff out, and this is when I'm angry. This is when I get in my, like, I can't figure anything out. And I do this for a day or so, and I'm completely a horror to be around. Nobody wants it. Victims, unconscious, numb out. Okay? I'm like, what is this? I don't know. Well, I keep going. And it starts to eventually have some measure of structure, right? Until, do you have the keynote up? Chris? This one we have on a picture. Okay, so that's my bit wall. These are things that I've said in past. It's like the best of, it's a greatest hits album. All on Post-its of things that I'd want to say. And sometimes it just hits. Sometimes as I'm working it, it'll just go boop. And so I wrote that down and look at the one in the middle. Chris, who I was staying with, Jean's husband's name is Chris. And he threw that in there, unbeknownst to me, while I was having my, like, what am I gonna do? All of a sudden I see make Chris breakfast. So I'm organizing, and it's all terrible. And what I keep doing though is I keep asking Spirit for help. So let's see the next one. And that's when it starts to get some bones on it. Okay? Where I start to think, well, what is it that you really want to tell people? This is what you really want to tell them. And this is how you really get there. Because this is how I've learned. And I do all this and then move to the next one. So this is all on that thing. Then I start editing. And there's more pen than ink. And it was so aggravating and so exhausting to try to birth this thing. And what would happen is I'd get tired. I mean, can you imagine? Ish. Nope. Is that fun for anybody? Raise your freakish hand if that's fun for anybody. No. So I'd get all just kind of, go, man, and when I'd have that and it'd dry up and the sphincter'd go dry, and you just go, what am I gonna do? I'd get my drum out. And I had a little altar that I set up in her living room. And the poor cat, Toots, the cat McManus, was not enjoying it at all, if you can imagine. Because here's what I would do when the words wouldn't come. Okay. I'd be staring at that thing. The cat's running around. Get out, get closer, but then when I start to go, Spirit! through all of that spirit work, I ended up, at the end of 7 days, creating a 60-minute, 22-page kick butt keynote. It's really, really good. And it's actually kind of, I mean, I'm not taking all the credit for it. Trust me on this. I mean, it's not like I'm so bad, it's not the way that it is. I know that when I did my drumming, and I know that when I asked for help, and I know that when I went to bed and I went, Spirit, could you please just give me a little bit more, just give me a little more meat, please? It would come. So when I can say that I did this in 5 days, it's because it was a group effort. And so I'm exhausted, but I'm flying high. And I'm flying up 35W yesterday. And I'm really excited to share it with my husband and my daughter, who I've left for a week, who I know feels the impact of when I leave for a week. Because they got to do everything. And isn't it amazing, moms, when you go away? It's like all of a sudden they go, wait a minute, there's not a toilet paper fairy? We got to do this stuff ourselves? All the time? You mean tomorrow too? So, they have that whole thing working on. But I come into the house and I'm so excited to I'm literally, even though I've just driven 5.5 hours, I want to deliver it in my living room to my husband and my daughter. It did not go that way. And in the interest of protecting my spousal unit, screw it. No, really what happened here is we were on different wavelengths. And a poor choice of words became a poor choice of actions. And that poor choice of action kicked off another poor choice of actions and words, to the point where I had the top 5 of the worst fights of my life with my husband last night. And we're still in it. We're still in it. I got puffy eye. I got like Rocky Balboa eyes right now. They're so puffy from crying so much. Now, you all know that we all have stuff we can lose our minds over, right? And a lot of times it's about money, and it's about choices. And so that's sort of where all that lived. But it also lived in the stuff that I do that Spirit moves me. And when we start, I kind of get, like crazy psychotic at the thought of not being able to do this work for people. The thought of going to do something other than what I do for my sole purpose is heartbreaking to me. And that was part of what the conversation was about. So we're crying and we're yelling, and thank God the daughter had a sleepover. Right? Yay! Thank you, Spirit, for coordinating that. Because then, when the kids aren't around, you can just go crazy! Because my husband and I don't do those things. We really, truly don't do those things. We are partners, and we are friends, and we just are really respectful of each other, normally. And yesterday, I said mean things. Now, here's what's even worse about what I did. I had already practiced the mean thing when I went to my sister-in-law's house, ranting and raving, and thought if I ranted and raved enough that it would come out of my system, and I would be really conscious and loving and respectful and grounded and open and willing to work when I got home. No. In fact, I think that just helped me kind of refine my presentation. I chose better words. I chose words that went in just a little bit deeper. Where you just know that real soft spot It's kind of like we become experts, like National Geographic experts, when we get into long-term partnerships or just relationships with anyone who's close to us. We know. And we tell ourselves we're never going to cross that line. No, we won't. No, we'll never say that. Unless you say this! And then you say it. And you go, oh boy. Now, it felt real good when you did it. It felt really good when I did mine. But and then of course, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I have those kinds of days, when I've fought, when I've had great stress and trauma and anger and resentment and rage going toward somebody that I love, I don't just fall asleep. I'm up all night. Right next to him. You know, and I mean, there was just a part of me that was like, if it wasn't winter, I swear to God, I'd be out on that couch. It's so cold out there, I gotta lay next to him. So I'm laying there angry. And, you know, then you also, you validate everything. Y'all do that? Like when you're in the quiet spot after you've already had the fight, you're like, yeah, that's why I should have said what I said. It was okay. He doesn't know, she doesn't know. You play it all over in your head over and over and over and over again. So I'm doing that and I'm tired. And of course, that night is usually when Spirit starts to give me the bones of this. And all I feel is anger. And all I feel is just so out of control. So here I am upstairs in my office, and I'm getting ready for you all. I'm setting the container and starting the prayers and everything. And I think of my best friend. My best friend said, what would you say to someone who needs you if you only had 45 minutes? What would you say to them? So I said, I remember what I'd say. I would say that joy is my greatest motivator. Now, I decided today to not bring my hoop. I decided today to wear brown instead of white. Most of you know I wear white every week, or every time I'm here, don't I? My prayer whites, my sacred prayer whites. I was getting ready this morning and I was like, I'm not gonna wear my prayer whites. They're too good. They're too good to be worn by me that morning. I was too much of a stink bomb. You know, you don't put on sacred whites when you're going, oh yeah, and another thing. So I looked in my closet like, what's the most depressing winter outfit you have? Yes. And then I'm getting on my way to come here, and I think, oh, phooey. You don't have your hoop clothes. Do you really want to put your hoop clothes on? Don't get your hoop clothes. Whatever. Nobody will care. What's the difference? I chose not to hoop this morning. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. I don't do that. So that was my indicator when I was sitting there laying in prayer, when I thought, okay, wait a minute. If I need help here, if I need help to get to where I want to be with these people, I'm going to follow my own advice. Joy is your greatest motivator. And I had just proven all morning long that I was shunning my greatest motivator. I will not have fun. Even when he made his gentle inroads to reconciliation. Honey, would you like a smoothie? Fine. Here you go. Thank you. So I had pushed joy away. And then I wonder why it's getting so hard. How this is so tough. And I look at that and I go, okay, then you know what, Theresa? You're going to make a decision right now that you're going to start to let the joy back in. You're going to start to let some happiness enter into your field. And so I decided later on, I will, in fact, go hoop. Because it will make me feel better. And I am hoop, H-O-O-P, for those on the internet, not poop. Because there's no context now. Second thing that would have been my advice to myself was, choice is my greatest asset. I can choose, right now, to understand why my husband said what he said, did what he did. I can choose to understand why I did what I did and said what I said. And I can choose that there's a different alternative that works for both of us. Because you ever notice that when we really get into trouble is when we think it's my way or your way? Who wins? You do the puffing up of the chests, right? And sometimes my version of puffing up the chests will be the, ah! That's puffing up the chest. Because it takes a strong man to be able to be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to stay in this fight. Okay, sure, yeah. This won't hurt a bit. We do that where we say it's us versus them, you versus me. When the reality is I can make a choice with my mental body, because this is just a computer that just has programs that's been written in it. I can choose a new program today, right now, this moment, to be like, I choose that there's a better solution for Michael and I. To resolve this. I choose that his needs are going to be met and my needs are going to be met and my family's needs are going to be met. And I'm going to choose, most importantly, to not feel like a victim. Because I had a part in this too. Right? We all think when we get into that place where it's like, and you're just pulling it against somebody, you think, I don't know, I haven't done anything. I so haven't done anything, and I could prove to you all the things that I haven't done. But I'm doing it right now. So I chose to own it. And then I did the third thing that was my pearl of wisdom from the week. Self-compassion is my greatest strategy. When I think about how I hurt my husband last night, I feel terrible. I feel like there's a part of me that feels like I shouldn't be up here. That I haven't earned it. Or that, my advice isn't any good. Because just last night, I was an unconscious fool. That's where self-compassion comes in. Because I could go all day long about judge, and judge myself. But the reality is when I can step into, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody screws up. Everybody has moments where they let their fear dominate them. Everybody that I know. Maybe there's other people that don't, but I do. I get dominated by fear. I get dominated by judgment. I had a hater my first day with my video. Cruel hater! And I saw all these wonderful things of people, oh my gosh, amazing, love you, ah! And then I read this hater from somebody who was probably my 6th grade bully, who's on Facebook, who knew that it was coming out. He would do that. He's that small. But when we can be compassionate with ourselves and say, I accept myself, warts and all. I accept myself that I make bad decisions sometimes. Because when I can be easier with myself, I can be easier with Michael. And I can be easier with everybody else in my life. When I can say, yeah, you did, that was a colossal, yeah, you're going to hear about this one for a long time. But I can show him compassion. And the fourth one, that was the one that just sunk in so deep, Spirit is my ally. Spirit is your ally. When we get into those cycles, like I was in this morning, when it's just, you just turn into this person that isn't you. It's like the worst version of you. Do you know what I mean? The worst version of you that's always like, come on, yeah. You're not even in the moment at all. You're just still obsessed over what happened in the past, or you're worried that you're not going to get what you want in the future. And so it's just this blah. And Spirit is the thing that can wake up! Wake up! It can wake you up, and it can guide your way. It can be your teacher. It can be your blocking back. It can be all the things that we need in our lives in those moments of smallness. Spirit can. So for me, one of my portals to my spiritual practice is my drum, just one. My hoop is another one. Meditation is another one. So what are the things in your toolbox where you can start to say, I'm going to have Spirit help me through this? You know when you're like, I don't know what to do. So today when I was upstairs, I don't know. And I said that to everybody who'd listen. I talked to my sister-in-law. I talked to my best friend. You know, I'm just, drama. And they didn't have the answers. I mean, they were like, you are usually the one doing the talking. You don't know how to fix it? Okay. So I don't know what to do. I'm sitting there on my yoga mat upstairs and decided I don't want to feel this way anymore, and I want to feel better. So I'm going to feel some joy. I'm going to make some better choices, and I'm going to forgive myself. Now what? And Spirit said, forgive. Just forgive. Forgive the moment. Forgive the unconsciousness. Forgive the smallness that we both immediately jumped to. Forgive the fact that we didn't support each other. Forgive the fact that I said horrible things. Forgive it, forgive it, forgive it, forgive it. So if we can look in our own lives and say, where are we not using those 4 things? Is there a place that you're not fulfilled? Is there a place that you're rubbing up against what you really, really want? And it's causing you, it's eating away time. It's eating away precious time. What is that thing that is eating away precious time in you? And we can look at it and say, where can we bring more joy into our lives? Who has taught us that joy is bad? Who has modeled for us that we shouldn't have a good time here? And what are the choices that we're making? Are we making any? I don't know about you, but when I get crazy unconscious, I don't make any choices. I let the universe play pinball with me. When I don't want to step out of decision making, step out of moving forward and crafting what I want, the universe is like, okay, we'll just show her what happens then. So what choices can you make? And how can you be better to yourself? So think about that last screw up that you just did, where you hurt somebody, or you hurt yourself. You said something, you did something, or you didn't say something, or you didn't do something that you know in your heart would have been the better choice. Now, how does that feel inside? Ishy, right? But see, the thing is that if you look around, every single one of us has those. We all have them. If I were to just try to show you all of the bad decisions, oh my God, it would be going off onto Upton. It would just spill out of this building, the bad choices I've made, and the bad choices that you've made too. Right? But a lot of times those choices just come from unconsciousness, and what comes from unconsciousness is fear. We let that demon of fear grab hold of us and make us stupid. It makes us forget. Fear makes us forget the 4th and final rule, that Spirit is your ally. Fear makes you feel alone, right? Nobody can understand, nobody can understand. It's terrible. Well, there's one thing they can understand. Creator, God, Goddess, the universe, source, spirit, higher self, whatever. There is a presence that loves you even with your stupidest mistakes. Totally loves you. Does it kind of half love you? Only on certain days. It's not Santa Claus. It really, truly loves you every single moment of every single day because it is of you. You are it. It loves you unconditionally. So let's do a meditation on that thing that you have that's that fur ball in there. We want to move into forgiveness. So assume a meditative posture. just sink in and relax a little bit. Let yourself totally and completely arrive. Part of the spirit practice is to be present with it. So just relax your mind, relax your body. Let your breath travel down further into your arms and into your legs. Imagine that you're breathing into your knees and breathing into your calves, breathing into your wrists. Allow yourself to just be softened up and relaxed. And take a moment to just breathe in everything. Breathe in all the good. Breathe in all the bad. Breathe in all the pleasurable and all of the difficult. Just breathe all that life in, every part of it. You're integrated with it. You are it. You're walking it. This isn't playtime. This is real. And you're here now. Breathe in your life. Breathe in your experiences. Breathe in your choices. Breathe in your childhood. And if you're having trouble doing that, breathe in spirit with you as a child. Breathe in the strength that that young boy and young girl had to go through what they went through, what you went through. Breathe in and recognize that we are a summation of our experiences, and our experiences come from our thoughts and feelings. Breathe in and breathe all the way down now through your legs, down through your feet, and imagine that your breath is just traveling all the way down through your feet, through the base of your pelvis, down through this carpet, down through this building, and into the earth. Breathe and let that travel down, deep down into the earth. Let your roots grow deep, deep, deep and wide. Like you can feel my roots with your roots. And all of the people in this room, we can all just intertwine. Breathe in and let those energetic roots travel down deeper now, deeper into the earth. 100 yards, 500 yards, miles, hundreds of miles, deep, 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 all connected still with you. You still feel that pull to the earth until you get to the very, very center of the earth and you wrap your energetic roots around that iron core heart of beloved Mother Earth. You feel her just holding you in position, feeling grounded. And imagine, if you will, that you're just getting longer and you're getting more open. You're letting all of your muscles and your nerves, your vertebrae, everything's just opening up and allowing a little more energy to run through as you're feeling the strength of the earth supporting you. It's almost as if you feel your roots are being strengthened with the earth's pull. And with your next breath, imagine, if you will, that you are opening up your consciousness, you're opening up your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit, your essence to that which is the Creator of all things. Imagine that you have a beautiful silver strand that's going to travel through you up beyond this ceiling, through the dome. And it goes into the stratosphere. It travels beyond all of the stars and the moons. It travels beyond all the galaxies. It travels beyond what space-time is, to the very center of all that is, to Creator. Creator who loves you so much, who supports you at every single moment of your life. And let that energy of the Creator come down through the cosmos, down, 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 all the way down until it comes in to your body through your cord. Breathe and feel the earth and feel spirit holding you right in between. Perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Imagine with your next breath now that spirit is infusing you from the very tip top of your energetic field all the way through, infusing you with joy, giving yourself permission to feel unfettered joy. Let your heart expand more and allow more joy in. Let that joy melt away the agitation that's in your head, your negative thoughts. Let joy move you in this world. And as joy envelops you, fills you up, you recognize that you are choosing right now, this moment, you are choosing a different frequency. You are choosing a frequency of power. You are choosing a frequency of unity. Breathe in and let that energetic frequency enter you more fully. Feeling the earth and feeling spirit holding you, supporting you, and loving you. And with your next breath, what I want you to do is imagine those bad choices that you've made. Bring them all together. Coalesce them right by your heart. All those choices. The choices when you forgot who you are. The choices where you let fear take over. The choices where you let someone else decide. The choices where you hurt another. Put all those choices in that basket. And just put that basket right outside your body that you can just put in like eggs, Easter eggs in a basket. Every bad choice, every bad choice, every bad choice, every bad choice. Every hurtful choice, every unconscious choice. Every choice where you were alone or thought you were alone. And imagine that spirit just comes right into this room, right into this sacred space, and just grabs all of our baskets and just lifts them on up. Lifts them all up. Takes them away. Building them into new energy, new creation, new life. Breathe in and let your heart just fill with all that love, all that compassion, all that forgiveness. Totally forgive yourself for every single one of those moments where you had forgotten. See yourself walking in this world with a greater sense of openness, compassion, forgiveness. And in this last moment of spiritual union, I invite you to go deeper yet into your heart and touch that energy of gratitude. Who is in your life now that you are so grateful for? Who was in your life that you were so grateful for? And who will be in your life that you are so grateful for? All of the choices that you have made, see and feel gratitude. Let that energy of gratitude just fill you and push out all that smallness, all that doubt, all that fear, all that rage. Just let it melt off you. Let the gratitude be the thing that fills you back up with you. Breathe in and feel the gratitude of the earth for providing us all of the things that we need. Feel gratitude to Creator for providing all of the healing, the wisdom, the love, the nurturing, the advice, the orchestrations. Be grateful for that, and be grateful for another day that you have been given. And ask to just be reminded when you forget that you can be nudged back into this place of peace and power. Come on back. Move your arms, your legs. Coming back into the room. So I feel better. I feel better. And sometimes that's just all we need, right? It just doesn't have to be so complicated. Spirit doesn't have to be complicated. We can have days where we make bad decisions, where we hurt or get hurt, and then we can ask. Spirit is our greatest ally. When we ask and we let that in, and we have more moments like that than the moments where we're unconscious, then we start sucking every last drop out of every moment. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Anything I can help answer before we do the offering? Anybody have anything they'd like to share about their meditation, or a thought that came up, or a question that you might have? Everybody just basking in the awesomeness? Isn't it nice? This is how we need to do, is we learn how to do this outside of here, in the real world. You guys ever have that where you feel like there's two worlds? You got the world where you're, everything works, it's all great. And then you have the other one. So we want to try to pull those in, make those one. Any last comments or questions anybody might have? Yes, Miss Linda.
Listen to what you say. When I talk to him about, oh, I've got this and I've got that, and he'll say, Mother, you've been teaching this stuff how long? Don't you ever listen to what you're telling people? Well, yeah, but that's just for you guys, you know. It doesn't work for me.
Right, exactly, yes, totally. That's so funny. There was another thing that you were saying that reminded me of something. Do you ever have to do that when you think of something? You got to go back to the place where you were when you forgot it? Let me see. Oh, really? More? The older you get, the more you do it? Oh, shoot, it's gone. It's gone with the wind. To practice it ourselves, and even to know when you know you're doing it, that's the thing. Don't you get, oh, I hate that. I hate that. When I'm knowing when I'm doing this, going, this is stupid. Yeah.
Just a comment, piggyback on that. As a life coach, I get people who call me and say, oh, and I fell down, I fell back, I regressed, I did this, I did that. And what I always tell them is, but you noticed it this time. That's progress, because most of the time you're doing it, we want to get you from being unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent, and then you can make choices, and that's what it's all about.
Totally.
So celebrate when you find you've screwed up, celebrate it, because I caught it.
Yeah, exactly. And to forgive ourselves for not being perfect. There's power to that.